let me just say, shout out to all the groups that I've run, that whether they have kids or adults in them, anyone who ever wanted to adopt the monster instead of fight it, I see you and I'm here for you, Bubby. So I would die for this creature.
Welcome to the Character Sheet, comicbook.com's official home for all things tabletop and fantasy. My name is Christian Hoffer, and today I am joined by a very special guest. She is the writer of many D&D novels, including the novel that is due to come out this week by the time that this video goes up, The Fallbacks Bound for Ruin. I am talking with Jaleigh Johnson today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on today. This is exciting.
Yeah, so The Fallbacks Bound for Ruin, it is a brand new D&D novel, and it is going down a little bit of a path that we haven't seen in a hot minute for D&D novels, in which it features new characters, not like characters from like D&D Adventures or, the deep D&D lore, but brand new characters. So I guess my first question is, how did you get involved with The Fallbacks Bound for Ruin?
Well, I had just finished up writing for Random House Worlds. I wrote one of the tie-in novels for the new D&D movie, Road to Neverwinter. And, I said to my editors that, this is amazing. This is a lot of fun. I'd love to work together again on something. And, it was just a good experience all around. And I think it was just a few weeks or maybe a month after that, I was contacted again by Random House, and they said, would you be interested in writing another D&D novel? And of course, my first thought was, revisiting the movie characters again or something like that. But no, they said, this is something brand new. This is a brand new party. Would you be interested in taking them into the realms and having new adventures with them? And I was like, yes, I am absolutely interested in that. I am on board. It's like, so yeah, that's how I got involved.
So you are obviously like a longtime D&D nerd. We were talking a little bit before. You've written other D&D novels in the past beyond just the movie tie-in. Your novels go all the way back to like 3rd edition D&D tie-ins.
Yeah, from my very first novel, yes.
So how did the prep for Fallbacks differ from those other books or from the D&D movie tie-in?
The concept for this came about where they said, let's, take the core classes of D&D, back to our roots, back to these core classes, and not only have this opportunity to, publish novels. And I think there had been a desire for more novels, D&D novels, for Forgotten Realms novels, or at least I know I had that desire. I was very excited, but also with all the new people, coming into D&D, coming into the game, whether they're finding it from the movie, or their parents who played D&D, or just all these new people coming into it, giving them this entry point through novels with these core character classes, and giving them this entry point into the game and into these worlds. And that was kind of the impetus for that, and that was the mission statement. So
as you mentioned before, the D&D like marketing and design team, they were the ones who kind of like did the broad conceptualization of the Fallbacks. So what sort of notes were you given? Like, were you given down to like, this is what we want this character to like look like and act, or how much input did you have in like the character creation process?
I was given, again, just like the idea of the core characters, the core party, the D&D, and then it was kind of like, take this party and take them into the realms. Where do you want to go with them? Where would you like to explore? That was one of the questions that they asked me. And I was like, well, could I go here? Could I go here? And, kind of shooting for the stars a little bit, like here's where I've always wanted to go. Could we do this? Could we do that? Not knowing, how they would react to it. And they said yes on many points. And so I was very excited. So yes, I did have a lot of input on where do we take these characters? What sort of adventures, are we going to go on? What do I get to do to these characters? What do I get to put them through? So yes, that was very exciting, to have that freedom.
So we should probably actually talk about the core cast of characters. So why don't you give me a brief description of them? What they're like. What sort of secrets do they have? Things like that.
Sure, I'll tell you all the secrets.
Yes, please do.
Yes. And then assassins will show up at my door to be unconscious. While I give away all the secrets. No, so we have this group of adventurers, and kind of the core of the group is Tess, who is an alpha rogue, and she is, what I love about her is you have, your classic rogue character that usually, or at least the way I picture a rogue is like the lone wolf character that sticks to the shadows, kind of stays back. That's the way I play my rogues. But Tess is very much, it's her notion, her idea to form this adventuring band. She has ambitions. She has plans. She is very comfortable being in the spotlight and wants to make a name for herself and her group. And I loved seeing that from a rogue character class. That was very interesting to me. You have Kazran, who is a wizard and a woman after my own heart, lover of books, just wants to study magic and see the world, but she's been stymied by different things in her life. She's carrying some interesting family complications, much like our fighter in the group, Anson, who is, kind of like Tess's right-hand man, always there to support her, never met a lost cause or a broken thing he didn't think he could fix, sometimes and often to a fault. So there's a very interesting dynamic between the two of them. You have Lark, our bard. You're not ready for Lark. I wasn't ready for Lark, and you all are not ready for Lark. I love him so much. A bard that is who I love because instead of like being this, new kid on the block, trying to make a name for himself, trying to prove himself, trying to become famous, he's kind of had a taste of that already. And he's made some mistakes in his life and done some things that, have had consequences. And so this is, his chance to kind of reinvent himself, and we'll see how it goes, but yeah, you're not ready for Lark. And, have Baldur, our cleric, who has a very fascinating and unique relationship with the gods. He doesn't follow any one god, believes in equal opportunity negotiating with all of them, which is so much fun to explore. And in my opinion, saving my favorite for last, I shouldn't say favorite, but saving my favorite for last, the party's mascot, their companion, their Uggy, their Odiog companion, who, let me just say, shout out to all the groups that I've run, that whether they have kids or adults in them, anyone who ever wanted to adopt the monster instead of fight it, I see you and I'm here for you with Uggy. So I would die for this creature.
And a very brief spoiler, there are chapters in this book that are written from I cannot pronounce that monster's name to save the life of me, but they're written from the monster's point of view, aren't they?
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that. So That's fair. Again, I'm gonna make sure the assassins don't come through the door, but I can't wait.
Well, maybe that's a little tease. I do want to talk about Lark really quick, because when the cover for this novel first came out, my thought about Lark was, oh my God, this is what a boy band performer would look like if it was in Forgotten Realms, because he's wearing this like white, like almost like fedora. He's wearing this totally white outfit. He looks like
that will show all the dirt in adventuring.
Yeah, exactly.
Not set up to be an adventurer. Yes.
And my first thought about that character when I saw the character art was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then my second thought was, oh my God, this is 100% what bards are like nowadays. You know, you have the image of almost like a kind of like a Volo type character, you know, where they're wearing like the puffy pants and, you know, the pompadour hat or whatever. I didn't get the name of that hat right, but you know, like the old fashioned, you know, bard. And, you know, this guy struts it like he's like the tiefling, you know, backup dancer for BTS. Like, you know, what, you know, was that like a deliberate choice, like to modernize the bard? Because, you know, I feel like of all the characters,
I chose backup dancer BTS. That was the note for the note. Sure.
I just feel like, you know, that was a really interesting like modernization of like our conception of like a court class. That, you know, like you instantly know that character is the bard just based on the cover. Sure. You look at that cover and you go, yeah, there's the bard. They're 100% is the bard. Yep. So, you know, like what went in, like, because you're making and I guess to my wider point, you're writing a D&D novel for a modern audience, for a larger audience. Like there are more D&D players than like 3rd edition D&D, which was also a big boom, and there's like 1,000 times more players now. So what's the balance for trying to like modernize these classes and make like the notion of a modern adventuring party kind of mixed with like the classic fantasy tropes?
Well, just showing that there's so many different ways that you can play a core character class. I mean, you ask 100 people to make 100 rogues or 100 bards, you're going to come up with 100 different versions. Mm-hmm. And we're just showing one of them, you know, and showing the possibilities for people who, you know, can then take this into their own games for inspiration. I mean, you know, that would be amazing to me if that were, you know, something where people said, oh, now that gives me an idea for a character I could play or something like that. You know, that's great. That's just bringing, you know, more ideas and more entry points for people into this game and showing just the limitless possibilities.
Now, it does seem like, you know, like, because the Fallbacks, they already announced they want to do more with the Fallbacks. This isn't like a one-off novel. And, you know, obviously, you know, I'm assuming I wouldn't be surprised to see the Fallbacks show up in like the artwork of a future D&D book, like a rule book, or, you know, who knows where this thing will go. But
well, to that point, I can tease, if you would like me to.
Please.
Yes, the Fallbacks will be returning in another novel.
Well, there we go.
So yes, I'm working on it right now. So you will see, you heard it here first, you will see the Fallbacks return in the future. So yes, I can tease that. And I can tease one other thing. I'm not directly involved in this project, but I've seen some early artwork from it. There's going to be you familiar with the Little Golden Books?
Yeah.
There's going to be a Fallbacks Little Golden Book.
That's amazing.
That stars Huggy. And I cannot even tell you how much joy I've gotten out of seeing the early artwork and text for this book. It's just.
So, okay, well, you kind of already answered like half my next question.
No, so sorry about
that. No, please. Like, you know, any more secrets that you just want to spill out, like, please, for the love of God, makes my job super easy. But for like the Fallbacks, like, you know, one of the big questions that we had, and we saw this a little bit with like early 5th edition, there were like more tie-ins with the set adventures and stuff like that. And we already know that the Fallbacks are going to be appearing in other stuff. So let me ask you this. You know, were you given any like insight at, you know, so you said like for the first Fallbacks novel, you got to go wherever you want to go. Were you given like any like context about like what certain, you know, I don't know, like interdimensional characters might be doing, or like, you know, any like any interesting tie-ins to like the Forgotten Realms, or maybe a certain like, you know, big bad lich that's going to be appearing in an adventure this year? You know, where was this book like, you know, going to like talk about current D&D events, or is it just kind of like set aside and, you know, just running about in the realms? Because the realms is a pretty big place, you know.
It is a very big place, yes. No, it was very much for my directive was, take these characters into the realms, you know, show them on an adventure, and that was the main focus.
Okay.
And then would the second novel, which I can say nothing about, but that's kind of all I can say about that. Okay. And any other plans that might be into the works on that, that's, you know.
So what I'm hearing is we shouldn't hold our breath for like a Shadowheart appearance in this novel, or a Baldur's Gate 3 tie-in or anything like that.
That is not anything I can speak to.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing that I can't speak to anything there. So.
I have to ask, you know,
of course, you had to know. Is that your favorite BG3 character?
So, you know,
character that you want to show up.
Like, it is a, you know, Shadowheart and Asterion do have special places in my heart. You know, I definitely play a little bit of like a disaster bisexual in that game, where I was just like, I'm going to flirt with the vampire. I'm going to flirt with the emo cleric. Like, you know, that's like 100% like my jam, and also my jam. Like, why not? Like, why wouldn't I?
I'm here to kill monsters and flirt. Yeah. That's the whole reason I pick up these video games.
Exactly. You know, that's like 30% of why people play D&D is, you know, just for those two reasons alone. Just you know, be hot messes and also kill monsters. So were there any like influences, like fantasy influences that you drew from, like, you know, for the Fallbacks? Like if there was another piece of fantasy media that you would say, this is what the Fallbacks kind of is like. If you like this, you'll like the Fallbacks. What would it be?
I don't know. There wasn't necessarily anything like that so much as just that I have such a personal connection to D&D. I mean, I've played, you know, since middle school. I'm a DM for my group now. My connection to this game goes back to when I was 5 years old. I have an older brother who is 11 years older than I am. So when I was 5 years old and he was 16 and sitting around our parents' garage playing with his D&D group, I was sitting on the lawn chair in the corner just listening and thinking, I have to get involved in this. This is the best kind of make-believe. I can do this, you know? So I do have a personal connection to the game, and what I hope comes through is that I am always in mind of, you know, the experiences I've had with my gaming group and the love that I have for this game. And I hope that comes through, that personal connection.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's a kind of a perfect way to end this interview. You know, there we go. So the Fallbacks Bound for Ruin, it comes out this week by the time you're watching this video. So be sure to check it out, and be sure to check out Jaleigh's other books too. She writes a lot of great fantasy novels, not only like D&D books. You know, she has her own series that she's written. You know, and the D&D books are pretty good. There's a reason why she keeps doing this. So
thank you.
That's it for us. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. And yeah, see you next time.